Hi, I'm Maxie from New York. Whenever I walk the streets, guys drool over me, but my life was ruined because of it. Before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I was always a beautiful kid growing up, and my mom would flaunt me whenever she could. Have you seen my daughter? Isn't she absolutely beautiful?
Yes she is. Can you pay for your groceries now?
Yeah, sure. I was used to all the attention, but by the time I was 15, I was so sick of it. Why do I have to be so beautiful? Why couldn't I have been born ugly? Maxie, I don't want to hear you say something like that ever again. Your beauty is a gift. You better make use of it. And I did. I used my beauty to get any guy I wanted. One day, Mom burst into my room. I screamed because I was making out with this cute boy, Alex, in my room. Mom? Maxie, I've entered you into a modeling competition. Mom, get out! I was so embarrassed. Alex looked red. Oh, hi, Alex. Hi? Maxie, get ready now. What? Why? If you win this competition, it'll make you rich. But I don't want... Too bad. If you don't go, I'll ground you for a month. Ugh, fine. I said goodbye to Alex, and that night I entered the competition. And, what a surprise, I won. Now, I wasn't that bothered about it until I found out the prize money was $200,000. If there's one thing me and my mom have in common, it's that we like money. After that, I entered into competitions abroad. The competition in Paris was tough. They placed us in a room with all the other girls, and we each had a mentor to help us through each round.
I'm Maxie. I'll be your mentor throughout this competition.
Okay, cool. Can you... I froze. Because the dude in front of me was drop-dead gorgeous. Like, oh my god. And he was gonna be my mentor? I soon forgot all about Alex. What's your name?
Robert.
My heart melted. Robert. Even the name sounded hot. Pretty soon, Robert and I got to know each other really well. Within a week into the competition, I decided I was gonna stop being a wimp and just ask him out. Will you go out with me? Robert looked taken aback, but he smiled.
Of course.
We kissed immediately, and I was practically singing with joy. The first round of the competition was coming up, and I walked on stage. The challenge was to walk down a catwalk with super high heels. This would be a piece of cake for me. I walked down, but suddenly, my feet gave way before me, and I slammed face first onto the floor.
Sorry, Maxie. Better luck next time.
I couldn't move. What just happened? I never got kicked out in the first round. I knew this was an international competition, so it was a little tough, but seriously? No, I'm not leaving. Do it again.
Excusez-moi?
You're excused. Now do it again.
You may be mistaken, Miss Maxie, but how you do things back in home in America and how we do things in Europe are very different. Now get out!
I was dragged off by security guards. The most embarrassing thing about it was that it was all recorded live on TV. The internet was buzzing over me, and it wasn't the good kind of buzz. Back in my dressing room, I inspected my heels. I noticed the straps had been cut off, so that's why I'd fallen. It must have frayed over time. Or, no, someone hadn't sabotaged me, right? When I got home, my mom was furious. How could you throw away this chance? The prize was $500,000. I don't know, Mom. I don't know what happened. It's all because of him. It must be. My mom was pointing at Robert. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. Robert ended up flying back with us to New York, and he was living here now. He even went to the same high school as me. The problem was, my mom and Robert didn't get along at all. They practically hated each other.
I am sorry, but that was not my fault. It was probably you.
Why I oughta? Guys, please, let's just calm down. It's no one's fault. Let's move on and forget about this. Despite my pleas, they continued to fight, and the night ended with Robert storming off to his apartment and my mom storming off to her bedroom. I sighed. Being beautiful sure did come with a price sometimes. The next day at school, I went to Robert's locker to wait for him there, but he never showed up. I messaged and called him dozens of times, but there was still no answer. I was worried now. I headed over to Robert's apartment to comfort him. But when I got there, the place was empty. That's weird. I called him again, and then I started to hear ringing in the apartment and found his phone by his bedside. Had he really left his phone behind? That was even weirder. He never forgot it. I was starting to panic now. I was ready to call the police when I froze. On the bed, there was a note I hadn't noticed before. I read it and felt my brain start to explode with shock.
Dear Maxie, I've left with all your money. Your mom told the truth. I did sabotage our last modeling competition. I just used you to get your money and this was the only way. Don't look for me. You'll never see me again. Robert.
I was frozen. How? Why? Had Robert really scammed me? But our love felt so real. I checked my bank account, and sure enough, it was empty. Yesterday, there had been $2 million in that account. I suddenly felt very faint and sat down. My whole world felt like it was spinning. I told my mom, and I expected her to be smug about it, but actually, she was really supportive.
We'll find him and make him return all the money. Don't you worry.
But honestly, I didn't care about the money. I had truly loved Robert. I was more disappointed by the fact that our love was a lie. Months passed and there was still no sign of Robert. Then, one night, I got a strange phone call.
Wanna know the truth about your mom? Meet me at Cornerstone Park at midnight.
The phone cut off. I was speechless. The truth about my mom? What could she be hiding? Later that night, I waited in the park. I checked my watch. It was 12:30. Where was this mystery caller? Then, suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder and I yelped.
Babe, it's me.
Robert? At first, I was relieved. But then I remembered how he had scammed me of all my money. You jerk! You have some nerve showing up here.
Maxie, you have to understand, I did not scam you.
I was about to punch him, but I froze mid-air. Huh?
I did not scam you. That note you found, that was not me.
Then, who left it?
Your mom.
Robert explained everything to me. He said my mom was the one who had sabotaged my heels and cut the straps. Then she had told Robert that if he didn't leave and go back to Paris, she'd frame him as the one who sabotaged me and get him thrown in prison. He even showed me security footage of my mother at his apartment, then her writing the note and leaving it there. My mother was the evil one in all of this. But I don't understand. Why would she do this?
I don't know. I had to escape for my own safety, and I'm so sorry I had to abandon you, but it had to be done. But now you have to leave. Come with me. It's not safe with that evil woman.
It's okay, Robert. I understand. We hugged and kissed. But I have to get back home.
No, it's too dangerous.
Robert, I'll handle it. Don't worry. Robert hesitated, then nodded. Now I had to figure out why my mom wanted to ruin my life. But when I arrived at home, my whole world crumbled into dust. Police were surrounding my house and the place looked like a crime scene. I discovered that the night I had went to meet Robert at the park, my mother had been murdered. The police said she had been robbed and killed. I was distraught. That's when I realized, because of Robert, my mom was gone. If I hadn't gone out to meet him, I would have been here at the house. I could have helped her. But because of him, she had been here all alone. I would never forgive him. The next day at school, Robert approached me in the hallway.
Maxie, I heard about your mom.
Stay away from me, you creep. Robert looked heartbroken.
But Maxie...
My mother is gone because of you. The other students were staring now. Robert bit his lip, then nodded.
I'll give you space.
He left. I walked to class with the eyes of the whole school on me. This time, instead of the guys staring after me drooling, they were staring at me with pity. I lived at home alone. Since I was already 18 years old, I didn't need to have a guardian, but it was still lonely. I survived off the money my mom had left me in her will, but it wasn't much. I was still beautiful, but I doubted I could ever enter a modeling competition again. It was graduation day and I was getting ready. I wanted to get out of this damned town and move somewhere new for a fresh start. I walked to school, but then I realized I had left my phone behind. I turned around and walked back home, and when I entered, I got the shock of my life. There, sitting in the kitchen as if nothing had happened, was my mom. Mom? Mom looked up, then looked disappointed.
Damn it. Aren't you supposed to be at graduation?
Mom, I don't understand.
Ugh, I nearly got away with it.
Got away with what? Mom, you have to tell me what's going on. Mom hesitated. Then she sighed.
Ugh, fine.
That's when she told me the truth. The real truth. And sadly, the truth hurt.
I'm your sister.
My mom wasn't actually my mom. When she was 18 years old, her parents, our parents, had died in a car crash. They left me behind, a baby for her to raise. Because of me, my mom, my sister, hadn't been able to do all the things she had dreamed of doing, like becoming a model. So then, she had forced me to become a model and had used me to become a moneymaker. Then, when I met Robert, she saw the chance to get rid of me once and for all. She stole all my money, framed Robert, and then faked her own death. The body the police had found wasn't actually hers. It was someone else's dead body that she had stolen from the morgue. Someone who looked very similar to her. The police were so sure it was her that they hadn't bothered taking fingerprints. I was speechless. So, what now? My sister sighed.
Now?
She raised a knife.
Now you must die. You know too much.
I gasped and started to back away. My sister raced towards me, ready to kill. Then, suddenly, someone leapt out of nowhere and tackled her to the ground. It was Robert. Robert?
Maxi, run!
Robert and my sister fought until eventually Robert managed to tie her up. Robert and I stood there breathless. I suddenly grabbed a hold of him and kissed him. Thank you for saving my life.
Anything for you.
What should we do now? Robert hesitated. We looked at my sister. I sighed, then dialed 911. It was time my sister paid for what she did to me.